What if global trade was designed to fight climate change and uplift the world's poorest nations? Right now, it's not. Global trade institutions like the World Trade Organization, or the WTO, were shaped by the rules of the Bretton Woods Institution, created by the US and the UK in 1944. They claimed to promote economic reliance. In practice, it worked to reinforce global inequality. The WTO rules, like trade-related aspects of intellectual property rights or TRIPS, enabled developed countries to hold 88% of all patents and collect 97% of patent royalties. Even during the COVID-19 global pandemic, these rules delayed vaccine access for poorer countries, resulting in the loss of hundreds of millions of lives around the world. The WTO-led trade agreements actively inhibit the ability for low-income states to create local industries and innovate on their own terms. While trade agreements under the WTO limit how free and fair trade could be, developing countries were collaborating to create trade agreements on their own terms. This shift was accelerated by the U.S. beginning its retreat from its role as a global economic power, through its withdrawal from major trade agreements like the Trans-Pacific Partnership in 2017, and the refusal of appointing judges to the WTO Arbitration Court, thereby severely impacting its functionality. In this space, the Global South turned to more free trade agreements such as the Preferential Trade Agreements, or PTAs. PTAs allow more flexible, equitable terms than trade under the WTO. States like Brazil, India, and Vietnam are using PTAs not just for trade, but to accelerate green development. APEC, ASEAN, and BRICS are showing that the rules of global trade can be rewritten. Through 400 new PTAs, the Global South is negotiating better terms: regional trade, local industrialization, and climate-aligned development. But here's the catch: Investor-State Dispute Settlement Mechanism, or ISDS. It allows corporations to sue states for billions, blocking climate policy before it even begins. From Egypt to Mozambique, fossil fuel firms have weaponized ISDS to maintain extraction and profit, while communities suffer droughts, floods, and heat waves. The real irony? These cases show that the global capital does exist, but it's going to corporate lawyers and not climate finance. ISDS fossil fuel cases rulings average $600 million per case, 5 times more than any other sector. And 80% of those payouts go to legal fees, arbitrators, and third-party funders like hedge funds. This is a system of legalized extortion under the guise of collaborative, equitable, and climate-focused governance. Meanwhile, studies have found African states need $1.1 trillion per year in order to afford a climate transition. And yet, climate financing flows overwhelmingly to the global north, as it's safer and more profitable for investors. Instead of funding legal battles and corporate payouts, those funds could empower green transitions across the global south. To do this, we need not only more free and fair trade deals, but we need a new form of global governance, one that replaces corporate control with climate justice, one that centers preferential trade agreements and reforms ISDS so states can legislate for the planet, not for investor profit. We need global governance that gives global south nations a real seat at the table. This system must be empowered by locally led adaptation, providing cities, communities, and civil society a voice in climate and trade decisions. This system must establish a permanent global court that enforces climate justice over corporate profit, a system that sees climate inaction as the true violation, not climate regulation. Because trade doesn't have to be extractive. It can be a tool for planetary survival, if we restructure it to serve the people and planet. The question isn't whether trade can help us solve the climate crisis. The question is, will we let it?